you texting?
Our firstborn child.
Mm.
She is continuing to express her displeasure with Max Verstappen.
For setting world records?
Yeah, just for generally being the worst.
Or the best.
That's part of the problem. He is. I mean, welcome to parenting on F1 podcast. But I think I just told her, I'm like, look, kid, you're witnessing history. Like, you're witnessing the most dominant season that anyone's ever going to put together. So try and take a step back and enjoy that aspect, even if Max is the worst. So it's really not even Max. It's Christian Horner, the team principal.
Just arrogance or what?
He's a dick. Anytime anything doesn't go his way, like there's gamesmanship to being the team principal, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're always kind of being political and maneuvering and trying to do things in the back end as well as run the team that kind of give your team an advantage. But Christian, before Max won his first world championship, in the year Max won it, which was still a travesty. Like it is the single greatest robbery I've ever seen in motorsport, how Max won it. And that's not to take anything away from Max. Like I joke around about it. Like I bug Darren because he's a Max fan, that it'll be nice to see Max win his first uncontested world championship this year, right? He's about to win his third in a row, but his first one was a robbery of Lewis, right? His second one, the team violated the budget, right? They had a cap. So there's an asterisk beside those two. The budget is whatever. It's more funny than anything else, but it's just how prior to that, everything that Mercedes did or any other team did, Christian would be up in arms and they're out to get us. And just this woe is me mentality where he kind of took the gamesmanship a bit too far. But now that they're winning, like the budget thing, his response when they busted him on getting over the salary cap was essentially, it's so small, who cares? But if it was Toto, if it was Mercedes, he would have lost his mind. He would have been going to the FIA and like just losing his mind. But anyways, I have demonstrated that parents truly do influence how their child develops by the hatred she has for Red Bull in her core. Like she hates Red Bull, and she'll be sour all day that Max won this race today.
Yeah.
So I'm doing parenting right for sure. Yeah. Hashtag Lewis was robbed.
Well, one of my colleagues saw Lewis in Paris and took a picture, and so I showed Maya. Like it didn't even, I was just scrolling and just got to the top of his shoulders and she started screaming, "Oh my God, where is this? Who got," yeah, she was so
like, I don't get starstruck. Like I've met some athletes and some celebrities and stuff. Nothing huge or anything. That'd be a tough one for me not to fanboy about.
Yeah.
Like if I happen to meet him, I'd fanboy a little bit because he's, in my opinion, he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest racer of all time. Jim Clark was probably the best, but Lewis is right there.
Cool.
Do you want to keep talking about F1? Like
no,
I can tell you about my Mount Rushmore of F1.
You talk about fourth dog.
No, we're not. We're not getting a fourth dog. And frankly, I'm so close to calling the RCMP and having them put like a cease and desist in place or something to stop the BCSPCA from texting you.
I know. Every week, it seems, the SPCA is calling me or texting me with a new surrender because they know that I've got melting a heart.
There's probably a wall of people with their picture and phone number, and it just says suckers at the top. And they just go through that list until one of them takes the dog.
Well, but it's Milton's litter mates. So out of 4 of them that they had, there was 8 altogether. But the lady sold 4 of them. Who knows where they ended up. But the 4 that she surrendered because she couldn't sell the other ones. 3 or 2 now have been surrendered. We have the 3rd, and who knows what happened to the 4th. They are a handful. They're a handful.
Mm-hmm.
I won't deny that.
Yeah.
He's a handful.
He is a handful.
But so don't worry. I won't get a 4th dog. I just like teasing you.
That's fine. It's just, you have to understand that if that's the decision you make, there's a give and take to it. And I will be taking myself out of this house and giving room for the 4th dog because I will not live in a house with a 4th dog, especially a second Milton.
She's beautiful.
Oh, that erases everything. Let's talk about the poop on the couch a couple days ago, or the poop on the hardwood, or
he was acting out because we weren't giving him kids are back to school. We're
There's
back to work.
there's not enough time in the day to give him the attention and love he actually wants.
I know. But it's the same thing with kids. They act out when they're not getting the attention. So they'll get any attention that they want, even bad attention.
That's true. Well, he is a master at it. He is a good puppy, but yeah, he's definitely a handful.
Alrighty.
Right. You sure you don't want to go back to Formula One? Talk about that a little
I
bit?
am done. Yep.
Logan Sargent's having a rough season.
That was hard to sit through, even just.
But Lawson is doing okay. Yuki Tsunoda.
How about we just go on with your question? Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
I really like that we're starting talking about Formula One at the beginning of the podcast, by the way.
I need that taboo buzzer.
No, that's rude. So I wasn't talking about Formula One.
I just wanted to buzz you.
So I wanted to talk about an article I read. Yes. First of all, I can read.
I was going to say congratulations.
Thank you. Second.
I didn't even have to say anything.
Yeah, and I didn't need to use a thesaurus for any of the big words. I managed to make it all the way through. No, the article was a BBC article about the favorite child, and I thought it was interesting. The author is a sibling, has two other siblings, so it's 3 kids, family of 5, and they're basically talking about their experience with being considered the favorite of their dad and them not realizing it. And so it got me to thinking about parents in general and favoritism that, I mean, we've seen it with certain families and stuff that you can tell.
Blatantly see it, yeah.
Blatantly see it, right? And so the question is not so much do parents have favorites, because I think some do, but how do you manage that if you're in a situation where, and this can go anywhere. Like I don't really have a specific topic or question, but it's more, how do you try and avoid demonstrating that you have a favorite? But if you do have a favorite, how do you try and make sure that you're still, it's not detrimental to either of them? Because I think it's detrimental to the favorite kid too, to have that pressure, right? To be, if they're aware of it and they're told that, they feel sometimes that pressure. But conversely, the kid that feels that they're not the favorite, and I think every kid feels that at some point, that the other kid gets preferential treatment, right? Yeah. But yeah, so how would you approach that? If I came to you and said, maybe this is the question, hey, okay, so it's obvious you like kid X more than the other one. Like, what are you doing? Right? How would you deal with that? Yeah.
I don't think any parent would actually admit. Maybe some would. Maybe deep down in their heart, they might know who their favorite is, but I don't think verbally that they would.
No, because it feels like a betrayal.
Yeah. And they would probably look like a horrible parent. I mean, we do it jokingly with our kids.
Well, Willow was drilling us last night. Well, since Maya's not here, it's okay. You can tell me that I'm your favorite.
And they both think that they're the favorite, which is awesome. I want them to both think that they're the favorite.
Yes.
And they do. They both think that they are. So that's what we want them to get to, is to believe that they both are, right? But I'd say we all do have favorites. We can't deny it. Deep down in our hearts, if we really, your favorite, parents who are listening, is probably the one who is calmer, who is more obedient, who goes to bed nicely, who does everything that they need to do without fighting, right? If you've got 2 kids who aren't like that, then there's probably one who's less like that, right? As soon as one has a big meltdown, the other one's quiet or whatever. So I think that that's usually, unfortunately, the one. Meanwhile, it's the kid who is acting out and it is being difficult. That's the kid we do actually need to love more. So same thing with the puppies, right? Milton is definitely not my favorite, but right now he is getting all of my love and all of my attention. He needs it more than the other 2. Although I would say Pepper also needs it too right now, but she's getting it in other ways. And so that's going to be really important. But I break it down into parts, because the girls are always asking, who's our favorite? They will believe I'm the favorite, right? But they're always asking this question. And I break it into parts. Like, my favorite sidekick is Willow. I love going out, and whatever it is, she's the best little sidekick. She's up for anything. Let's go to the store and run some errands. She'll help me out. She's helping me, whatever it is. Do you have any work for me, Mom? My favorite cuddler is Willow. She is the best cuddler.
So that's 2 for Willow. So Maya's really trailing off here.
But Maya, and that's the thing, right? So who can I sit down and have a really cool conversation with? That's Maya,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can talk about, well, we were just talking about Trump the other day and Hitler and, like
Mm-hmm.
what makes their brains tick, for example. Or she was one day we went for a walk and she's talking about the Romanovs and everything that happened and, everything leading up to World War One and then World War Two. Like we can engage in really interesting conversations. Um, and Maya and I can watch really interesting shows. Actually, she had watched Hunters with
Mm-hmm.
you, and she couldn't wait for me to watch Hunters because then she's like, "Oh my gosh, okay, now we got to talk and debrief, right?"
Yeah.
So, um, that's good. And Maya like going. She's my best sidekick to go for walks with, right? Because I mean, there's grumbling usually at first
Yeah.
to go on a little walk
Both of
with the
them.
dogs,
Yeah.
but um, I do like because we do get into some of those interesting conversations, but more personal conversations as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So everybody's got their different thing. And so it's not that I love any one whole more or
Yeah.
less, but that's kind of how I break it down. I don't know. I mean, there's more to this, but for me, myself, that's kind of how I address it.
Yep.
And I do make them both feel special privately.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything special in front of one child for the other child. I never do that, but I'm doing little special things for them privately. Like I'm thinking of you. So they're feeling that extra specialness that
Yeah.
I'm getting this over my sister sort of thing, right? But in private, not a I'm rubbing it in your face kind of thing. So I think that that's important. We can get into like equality and fairness and how we treat them in front of each other, but I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, no, I'd say that's very similar, right? Like there are certain things. I don't know if I have a conscious kind of approach to it, but like Willow always typically jump as soon as I go anywhere. Willow wants to be in the truck and even if it's like a trip to the dump, like it's just she calls it ride or die buddies, right? Because she'll grab a book, she'll jump in the passenger seat, and she doesn't care where we're going, right? Where getting Maya out of the house with me is a chore unless it's directly related to something she wants or needs, right? Which is fine. But I agree, and I think at the stages that they're at, yeah, I would agree. Willow is much more up for activities and Maya is much more up for conversations or stuff like that. So I would agree with that. I think, yeah, I mean, and maybe this is just our particular girls. I don't lean one way or another to any one of them. Maybe because they are both they're pretty even keeled. Like obviously Willow's the more emotional of the two, but even then she's usually pretty chill, right? She has her moments, but so does Maya, right? I'm amazed she doesn't lose her ability to see with the amount of eye rolling she does, right? um, so yeah, I think that's a pretty good way of saying it. Is just break it down into the individual pieces and kind of feed those a little bit because I think it's more for me about trying to find a way to connect with them, right? Maya's more interested in doing stuff like on cars with me, right? Like if I'm working on my truck or on her car, she wants to be there learning it and doing it and stuff like that. Whereas Willow wants just more time and attention to do stuff, right? Like coloring or playing a game. And that's just where they're at in their age group or their development, right? The question I think that kind of comes to mind as we talk about this, and this I think talks to your, fairness and equality and stuff is does that manifest itself, do you think, in kids outside of the house, right? And if so, like at school, right? Would it alter how they would perceive themselves there? Or how does that kind of play out
Yeah.
if they feel there's a deficiency or not?
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to come back to that
Yeah, okay.
question in just
Yeah.
1 second. The only thing that I would say, just taking a step back, is we have our things with each of the kids. There's some, though, like Willow, she's convinced that Maya actually is your favorite and she's my favorite.
Yeah.
So at least she's got like one parent who thinks that she's the favorite. But because of common interests,
Yeah.
you have got music, right? And I think she's feeling a little left out with that piece because, you're taking Maya to Arctic Monkeys. I'm taking Maya to see Steven Sanchez.
Peter
So,
Pasquale?
but I'm going to take Willow. We had those extra tickets. So I am going to go take Willow to also see Arctic monkeys the night before Willow. So I think that there's that piece too. And she doesn't feel like she's found her common ground
Yeah,
like you
I could
have
see
with
that.
but even with me, like there's nothing with me that she's like, this is mine and mummy's thing,
Yeah.
other than watching Young Sheldon.
Yeah. The
Right.
superficial stuff for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's something to think about is how do we plant those seeds, making each child feel special, but then looking for those common grounds. And it doesn't have to be some like going to different tours,
Yeah.
like different concerts and stuff like that, but things that you could just chat with and about or get interested in or doing even parallel, like drawing together or,
Yeah.
those kinds of things. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
how it impacts them. Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see like what they were saying in the article, if there were any outcomes related to that. But
It was more just an editorialized kind of account of their experience. And then they cited some studies about, you know, the effects that they felt it could have and stuff. It was really just more an exploratory piece about the author's
yeah.
kind of situation. So yeah, nothing too concrete.
Well, I do see kids who see, and I mean, I've worked with families too over all of the years that I have, right? Where parents would never again say that they have a favorite, but just in how they interact with one that kid gets way more corrective feedback. And we see it in people that we even know, right? The one kid gets way more corrective feedback. Usually the older one, it seems. Maybe it's firstborn syndrome, because there's that piece too. There are different ailments, benefits, and consequences, I guess, of birth order as well. I'm not going to say it's all firstborns, but that seems to be lately a theme. Although it's funny because Willow says it's the secondborn who's always picked on. But anyways, it's one child who gets way more corrective feedback. And so that kiddo, I do see time and time again them internalizing and them saying, Mom and Dad don't love me as much. They don't say it, but I can tell because baby sister gets all the cuddles, for example, right? Or not getting in trouble, and I'm getting in trouble all the time. Even if it's not that way, they're perceiving it that way.
Right.
And so they're internalizing it. How does it affect them? Well, one of two things. That internalizing continues to internalize and they develop self-doubt and anxiety and depression eventually. Or it comes out as externalizing behaviors where they're lashing out, right? They're feeling like they can't do, just that shame is building. And so they don't feel safe and loved and belonging anywhere. And so, at school, that could come out as acting out behaviors as well.
Yeah.
Lashing out, bullying, and I see that all the time. And I see kiddos who will engage in what I call revenge behaviors. You've hurt me, and so I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to show you, not because I want to hurt you and be mean. It's more about, I want to show you how much you've hurt me, kind of thing, right? And so it really creates, I mean, if you can't be loved and accepted without any judgment at home with their own parents, I mean, that creates a really, if they're, and whether it's true or not, just their perception that that's the case, that I'm not loved as much, I'm not as worthy, that creates a really shaky foundation for their whole social emotional well-being as they get older.
Do you come across, this is kind of a loaded question, but do you come across parents that don't like their kids?
Oh yeah.
See, I guess I'm thankful that we're not in that spot, but
yeah, I think we have moments. Not.
Yeah. When you're frustrated, for sure, that's different.
Where we're frustrated, and I mean, and parents will often say like, "I love them, but I don't like them," right, or whatever else. I've had families where parents have walked out, and I get it now being a parent, but have just walked out on their family, right? So just, but kids, especially with kiddos who do have a lot of acting out behaviors, they extinguish their parents' reinforcement, essentially saying, like, parents give up, right? Like they've tried and tried and tried, and the kids are just hard, difficult. And so parents don't even want to be around them anymore. Parents don't even want to do anything for them, or, and
Yeah.
so I wouldn't say like and love. It's just more of that. They're exhausted
Yep.
and they just have nothing left to give. Right. And that's trouble.
Yeah.
That's definitely trouble because those kids need more of our love, but those parents need too. Like if you're one of those parents, it happens, right? It's not about feeling guilty. And in another episode, I'll talk about I had a bit of a parenting breakdown myself
Hmm.
um, over the summertime. So it happens. It's just a matter of then being able to take a step back and what is it that I need to make
Yeah.
sure that I'm okay. And we've talked about self-care and all of those things because parenting's hard. It really is hard. And we need to be in a place of getting enough sleep, having our own bucket filled to be able to give our kiddos, especially those more challenging kids or the ones who have more challenging behaviors,
Yeah.
I would say, to give them what they need, the love and attention that they do need.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. But it's tricky. So who's your favorite?
You.
That's always your answer
It
whenever the
is.
girls
It
say,
is 100%. Well, because it's kind of to that point. I mean, all kidding aside, and I do mean this when I say this. I don't have the girls without you, right? I don't have the life we have without you, right? So, um, I love my kids, but you are the most important girl in my life, right? Because we don't build any of this without each other, right? When it comes to the girls, no, I don't have I really don't feel that I have a favorite. But yeah, you really summarized it right. That Willow and I, we're cool hanging together, and we do. Like she's always up for running around with me and hanging with me. But you're right, we don't have that real connection on shared stuff. There's certain things, but she's just not at that age yet, right? And I don't feel that there's anything lacking, right? Like Maya and I weren't having conversations like we're having now until the past year or two, right? Like when she was younger and I was trying to, I was overfeeding her musical stuff. She had no interest. She never demonstrated that she had any interest. She went off and did it on her own. And it was then that she came back and started kind of really getting into it and having these conversations with me, right?
Yes and no, but I mean, you would sing Gallows Pole to her when she was a baby.
I would do the same to Willow, though.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
I did the same thing to Willow, but and it was funny because initially when they were younger, Willow responded more to the musical piece, right?
Actually.
She would want the stereo cranked, and she still, when we're going to the rink, she tells me what she wants played, and she wants it loud, right? She's like me in that way. But she hasn't hit that point where she does the stuff like I do about finding new bands and, where Maya does. That's one of Maya's things, right? So it's not that Willow and I don't have that. It's just in a different way, right? But what I find the younger kid specifically is constantly evaluating against the older kid, right? Yeah. And Willow is a very mature 12-year-old, but that 4-year gap is huge at this age. Yeah. It's huge, right? But she doesn't understand that, and it's impossible to explain it to her.
Like her art isn't as good as...
Oh, she's the worst at everything because she's comparing it to... But what she's not able to see, and we can't really demonstrate to her, is if 12-year-old Maya and 12-year-old Willow were put side to side, 12-year-old Willow excels in a lot of different areas, right? Because she has that guidance from Maya that's pulled her faster. But she'll never understand that, right? It's no different than Willow just went through double A evals, right? A very competitive form of ringette that's just draft. Like you evaluate, you get drafted, or you get cut. And she was consistently coming off the ice, comparing herself to the second and third year U6 or U14s, right? The girls that had done it already had at least, a season of training that improved their skills remarkably. And she was upset because she's not as good as them. I'm like, well, you shouldn't be as good as them, right? And we had a big, long talk. I'm like, those girls all showed up just like you did, right? And it took them time to get in there, right? And to learn that. So stop comparing yourself to the girls with the blue helmets. Compare yourself to the girls that are just coming from their association and have never done a skate like this, because that's a more accurate representation, but she doesn't, right? And it's the same with Maya. She looks at everything Maya can do. why can't I have a cell phone? I need to get a car. I'm like, you don't need to get a car, right? Like, but and I was the same when I was younger, right? That 4-year gap, you constantly feel like you're ready for it, and really you're not, right? But you constantly are comparing yourself to it. And that's why, it's tricky because, with Willow, she is a smart kid and she is very good at a lot of things, but she's very hard on herself. She builds these perceptions around. I shouldn't say Maya doesn't, but Willow is more vocal about it, right? Maya, I think, internalizes a lot of stuff a lot of times.
Yeah, I would say Maya's the same. But
yeah, but she just doesn't express it. She's much more comfortable having those conversations with you on like the walks and stuff, right? And I've talked about it before. The girls don't come to me to talk the way they do with you, right? And that's fine. Like it's wherever they're most comfortable. But Willow verbalizes it, so you see her thought process, and you can really see, okay, you do feel like you're deficient, but the attempts I make to try and get over that are just completely inadequate every time because she can't get past it, so I'm not going to be able to push her there. But yeah, I don't really have a favorite. I don't really have I'm cool hanging with anybody. What I don't like is when the three of you gang up on me. I don't have any favorite at all then, for sure. I think that's easy to pick out.
You know, gang up on you? When did we gang up on you?
Don't talk to me like I'm the dog. That's your dog voice. Don't do that. That's not cool.
Yeah, so I guess just for parents, I mean, looking for those little moments to make your kids feel special. And then the common ground. And I think we've talked about doing a Venn diagram, right? In one circle, all of the things that you enjoy doing. In another circle, everything that they enjoy doing. And in the middle, where the circles overlap, are the things that we enjoy doing together. Because I think that's the biggest thing when I look at what the girls, their perception of your favorites is, yeah, you're right. Like with Maya, Willow feels like Maya's your favorite because you do the cars and you talk hockey. You both have the same. You've really influenced Maya that way. She loves the abs, right? She loves Lewis. So all of those things. Which
is really funny because I didn't push her that way.
No.
You know what I mean? And it totally is, right? She engaged a lot of that.
And then Willow will say, and you will come, you'll do the things like throw the football around, throw a frisbee, go play basketball, right? So mom will come and do those. She actually just made a comment of that the other day, just saying it's weird. You're like the dad because you'll come and do those things, right? But anyway, that's just kind of with her. So yeah, just look for those opportunities to capitalize. And
makes sense.
Cool beans.
And after we cut this off, we can talk about who our real favorite is.
Yeah.
Just so there's no record.
Corey texting now.
Same child. It started with, I hate Max. And I said, he's truly the worst. She goes, I hope his car inexplicably breaks down. I said, it will not. We're witnessing the greatest car and the greatest season ever put together. I know, but I can hope.